Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Okay, I'm going to make the last call for the Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. This net is for Pearl Harbor survivors, those who were at Pearl Harbor December 7th, 1941. There used to be close to 300 members when it started out in 1981 or so. It's now dwindled down to 2 or 3 that are still, well, they haven't even been active either. Haven't had anybody for a month or two now get on here. We had one guy left that was on consistently and occasionally another guy, but he just passed away. And a third guy in L.A., haven't heard him for a while. It's been quite a while for him, maybe 6 months. So this could be my last CQ, and I'm going to have to end. I am now the caretaker of the net. I have been for quite a few years now. But these guys have either passed away or lost their hearing. Maybe their radios quit. But various reasons why most of them have dropped out. Most of them are now 90 years plus of age. But I even enlisted the assistance of CQ Magazine, but they didn't find any use in doing that, trying to find some of the Pearl Harbor survivors that are still hams, because it was on 3 bands previously, but it dropped to 20 a few years ago because of the loss of membership. So I was trying to find new members, but they didn't want to help out with that. So that's the way she goes. And I've been doing this now for months without anybody responded, and I've sent emails out to the last members that I know of. No response on emails either. So this is going to be the farewell swan song for the Pearl Harbor Survivors Net, unless somebody actually answers my CQ. I'll give a couple calls here. 20 meters, 14,283. Hello, CQ, hello, CQ. Hello, CQ, CQ. CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors, CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. The people you hear in this net were on duty December 7th, 1941 at Pearl Harbor. This is not a closed net. Visitors are welcome at any time. So we're going to start calling. This is going to be the last net. If we get no responses, the net has died out via membership and or participation. And the bands have been kind of rough as of late as well. Hello, CQ, CQ, CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Net, CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Net. Last call for possibly the last Pearl Harbor Net if we don't get any responses. This is Willie Able 3, Charlie Victor Charlie, WA3 CVC Net Control. Looking for check-ins for the Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. And WA3 CVC is now taking calls. The silence is sad and deafening. The last active member that we had that usually showed up every week for years and years, until very recently, haven't heard him for a month or two, is W4YIH Gordon down there in Florida. W4YIH Gordon. Are you on frequency? WA3 CVC Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. I've sent Gordon emails as well, and he hasn't responded to those either. Okay, this is WA3 CVC. WA3 CVC. Willie Able 3, Charlie Victor Charlie. CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Net, CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Net, CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Net. Willie Able 3, Charlie Victor Charlie, WA3 CVC, calling CQ for possibly the final time on this glorious net that's been around since the early 1980s. CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors, WA3 CVC, now taking check-ins. Okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute break or more and then give one more call. I'm going to cut the video out. Okay, got the video cam back on. Just for some clarification, I am not a Pearl Harbor survivor. I was in the Navy during Vietnam, but the original Bob, who was the original net control for years, when he passed away, the remaining members at that time asked if I would do it because I've written a book on Pearl Harbor survivors in Pearl Harbor, and I told them I would. And so I've been doing it ever since Bob passed away, I think like 4 or 5 years ago maybe. And it's really saddens my heart that no one's answering emails or the call on the radio. Really sad day. So I've been always proud to do it. Great bunch of fellas. Salt of the earth, the Pearl Harbor survivors. One last call. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. Hello, CQ. CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. CQ Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. The people you hear on this net are on duty December 7th, 1941 at Pearl Harbor. This net used to be run on 3 different bands. It's been run on a single band for years. It's been around since the early 80s, and this is the final call for the Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. So, if anybody's hearing me, but I don't hear them, you have my email address if you're a member. Please email me, let me know what's up. I'll send another email out today inquiring you about what happened today and for one last chance on email. So, final call for the Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net, which has been around serving the Pearl Harbor survivors for a long time, way before I ever got on here. And at that time, it was run exclusively by Pearl Harbor survivors. But due to age and things like that, they switched to me for a while, and I was glad to do it, and I hope somebody will answer. One last call. CQ, Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. CQ, Pearl Harbor Survivors Amateur Radio Net. Please come now for the final call. This is WA3 CBC. Aloha. It's been my pleasure if I don't hear any responses.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.